So let's start off by talking about tourist attractions in your country. What's the most popular tourist attraction in your country?
Well, I'm from Nepal, and in Nepal we have different cultural heritage site, and there are like beautiful nature, the highest peak of the world, Mount Everest, and the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. So that is one of the main reason why people are coming in our country to see the mountains and to see the cultural heritage sites. Um, yeah, and also like mostly for the Hindu people, they are coming in one of the most popular temple, that is Kalpashupatinath, and that is one of the, I think, the greatest place, and people are coming again and again to worship the Lord Shiva from different country across.
If I were to visit your country, what would you recommend I do there?
When people come in my country, they will mostly visit in the place where everybody knows about the areas, the cultural heritage site, and whatever reason it is. But from my preference, I'll suggest you to go in the place where it is not developed. Like go in the place for a trekking. You will see the different side of the lives of people. It will be like not developed place, and you will see how the people live, what they eat, what kind of climate they are living. So that is one of the thing that people must see, the side of my country, and it is very beautiful.
Do you prefer to go on holiday in your own country or travel abroad to a different country?
Always my own country. Like I haven't explored my country in a way that I will go and travel another country for now. My target will always be to see the different side of my country, especially the trekking, I would say. I love to go in a trekking. I love to go in the mountains, nature. So definitely my country.
Now let's talk about cooking. What's the most popular dish from your country?
The most popular dish is momo. So it's steam, how I say. So this is it's a steam uh, covered with the chicken, which is marinated, and they will steam and cook it basically. But you can make it in different way. You can fry it. You can according to your taste. Saute with the butter like that.
And do they normally serve food to guests who visit your house?
Yes, like Nepalese people are very hospitable, and we do serve people, and we care about them in a way like, the God is in your house. So you will find a different hospitality in my country.
And is fast food very popular in your country?
Yes, fast food is very popular, mostly the deep fried item, the people are liking that thing more. So, yes, the momo that I mentioned before, this is also the fast food item, one of the.
What was your favorite food when you were a child?
When I was a child, um, basically our staple food, the rice, dal, curry, achar, this is the go-to food. So I would say I used to love it, and still I do.
Now let's talk about movies.
Okay.
Who is your favorite actor or actress?
My favorite actor, like I don't have any specific person to mention that this is my favorite, because everybody have different acting, and I adore acting. So there are so many people I adore. So particularly one person, no, it's nothing like that to mention. But yeah, there are many, so I couldn't mention one person.
How often do you go to the movies?
Twice in a month, because I love cinema. I love to see how they make the movie, the acting, obviously, and yeah, how was the story. Especially, I like the real life based story. So if it's something like that, then I love to watch.
Can you tell me about the last movie you saw?
The last movie I saw was, it's kind of like fictional, not real based. It was War 2. I went to watch there because I really like the actor. It was Hrithik Roshan. And he's kind of already old, but the way he maintained himself and his acting is something you don't want to miss it, even though there is not much in the story to tell. But yeah, I went there to watch him basically.
Are there any movies you would like to see in the future?
In the future, like there is no particular movie that's in my mind right now, but I would definitely want to watch the movie which was made in my country to see in Dubai movie halls, you know.
How have movies changed since you were a child?
Like when I was kid, the movie used to be long, like 3 hours, and there were so many stories, so many character. The main lead people also will be like many, you know. But now in the movie it's quite short, and also the main character are they are limited. They're not putting the 10 main character, they're putting like 2 3 maximum, maybe because of the budget or whatever it is. So yeah, that is a difference I feel. And also in the story, because in the past time the story was related according to that time, and now the story is different according to the present situation. So I'm from Nepal. It's in the South Asia between India and China. And my country is mostly popular for the highest peak of the world, Mount Everest. Many of the people are going in my country for that reason. So the tourist attraction place in my country is, there are so many. People mostly come for the nature, Mount Everest, as I mentioned before, and different cultural heritage site, and the temples, and to see the life of the people as well. You know, because mostly people have in their mindset like Nepal is a developing country, so they want to see how it looks from their perspective, and how it is differ from their lifestyle. The tourist attraction is, I would say, the nature, people coming to see the weather, beautiful weather, the mountains, rivers, and also the people of Nepal. They are very kind. They have a great hospitality. They serve to the people like they are the god, because it's a saying in my country, like treat your guest like they are the god, you know. So that is also the main reason why the Nepalese people hospitality is differ from other people, other country. And Nepal have always been the tourist destination from a long time, mostly because of the nature, obviously, and different medicine herbs that we can find, you know.
That's the end of part two.
Okay.
And we're going to move on to part three now. Let's talk about museums and art galleries. Do you believe that all art galleries and museums should be 100% free?
I would not say 100% free in a way, because it's a art, you know. So you need to pay some contribution for the hard work of the people, for preserving that thing, and to creating that thing in a way, you know. But at the same time, it should not be expensive in a way that people should be thinking like, should I go to the museum? No, it should be like easily access and like just a limited budget for the preservation of the item.
What do you think museums or art galleries should do to make them more popular with people?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
What should they do? What should they include? What things should be in the museums or in the art galleries or different promotions, things like that? What should they do to make them more popular, make people want to go there more?
That's so nice question. Like I've never thought in that way. Because in museum, what we are seeing is the rare piece of previous ancient kings, you know, that kind of item, or the art, the paintings. To make it interesting, I think we can make something in the digital way also, you know. So different transition, maybe that will captivate the now today's generation, because today's generation is mostly about digital things, you know. So something we can relate, and to make a content maybe. So yeah.
Now let's talk about the holiday industry. Why do you think some people prefer package holidays over independent traveling?
It's depend upon the people actually, because some people are confident to go alone wherever they can, but some people like me, I have to think like, can I go solo? No, I need somebody who can guide me. So if there is a thing called package, then obviously it's easy, you know. There will be a guide, he have all the plan for you for the holiday. You don't have to stress about where to go, how to go. So that is like a easy way in a way. But some people are like independent. They don't want to rely on anybody. They want to explore by themselves, book a cab by themselves, check by themselves, check hotel, check places. So that is one of the differentiate, between these two packages.
Do you think that there can be too many tourists? Can they cause problems for local people?
The number of people traveling is not the problem, but it depends upon the people. What kind of people are they? If they are creating drama, then obviously there will be hard for the people who are guiding them, or who are the uh, regular person around, if they create some issue. Other than that, the number of tourists in our country, it won't be a problem. But sometimes it's gonna be problem if all the hotels are booked, there's no place to eat, then how we gonna treat them well? That would be the issue.
And can large holiday resorts and hotels have a negative impact on the environment?
It could be other impact as well. It's have a positive impact and negative impact at the same time. A positive, obviously, the revenue generation, and they can see the beautiful side of our country and see the lifestyle. But at the same time, the negative side would be obviously the air pollution, and there should be a production of different food items, so they're going to be a wastage and bring the water pollution and things like that.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some feedback on part 1, part 2, and part 3. I'm going to start off with more tactical, more strategic tips, things that could improve quite quickly for you. And then we'll give you some feedback on your grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and your fluency. So part 1, you did very well. Again, it felt very relaxed. It felt like talking to a friend or a colleague. You're making it a little bit more difficult for yourself in two different ways. The first way is I will often ask you a question and you will list every single way that you could answer that question. So if I ask you, for example, about tourist attractions, you won't tell me about Mount Everest. You'll tell me about every tourist attraction in Nepal. So that is just making your life more difficult because it turns it into a knowledge test. So it's a speaking test, not a knowledge test. So we want to do things that help us speak as clearly and as confidently as possible and basically make our job easier. So for example, if I ask you a question about tourist attractions, pick the one that you find easiest to talk about. The examiner is not thinking about, is she giving an impressive answer or is the knowledge correct? They're thinking about your grammar, your vocabulary, your pronunciation, and your fluency. In general, avoid listing things and just pick one easy thing. I think that will make not just part 1 much easier, but part 2 and part 3 as well. You did have that issue again in part 2. So you were listing so many different places and different things. There's a danger that on test day, you won't stick to the question and you won't answer the question because you're listing so many different things. My advice for part 2 and for most of these questions would be start your answer with one answer, one thing. So for example, describe a tourist attraction in your country. I'm going to talk about Mount Everest or a famous resort or could be a waterfall. It could be anything, but focus on that one thing and then go deep on that one thing. And then that makes it much easier for you to talk about because I think our brains just find it easier to talk about one thing than to talk about 20 things. You did stop halfway through, but you recovered very, very well. A good examiner will do something like I did, was just like, just talk about one thing. They want you to do well. But if that happens again on test day, you might get an examiner that just doesn't help you in that way, which could cause problems. So what I would recommend doing for part 2 is, again, pick one thing, but look at the bullet points here on the cue card. You can add more things. So more things related to that main topic that you find it easier to talk about. The other thing you were doing in part 2 is you were looking down at the page and then talking and then looking down at the page and then talking. No, the notes are there to help you, but you were using them in a way that hindered you, that stopped you doing well. So what I would recommend doing is during the 1 minute period where you're preparing your answer, do write down notes, think about what you're going to say, and then just try and speak as naturally as possible. And if you run out of things to say, then you can glance down just so they're there to help you. That would make you much more fluent and help you speak for the whole 2 minutes. Part 3 was also quite good. You did develop your answers a little bit. It felt like you were trying to find the correct answer rather than just speaking to me.
Yeah.
So remember, it's a speaking test. There's no correct answer. For a speaking test, as long as you're answering the question, as long as you're talking about that topic, you can go in many different directions. So pick the direction that is easiest for you to talk about. For example, can large holiday resorts and hotels have a negative impact on the environment? You were trying, like, does it have air pollution or water pollution? Like, just pick one thing to
Yeah,
think
talk
about.
about.
So air pollution, you could talk about, building the resort will obviously pollute the air with all the construction and then all the cars going, transportation going there. I really like the way you asked me to repeat the question. Not many people do that.
Okay.
And you did do that, and you can do that. So I think, I can't remember exactly what I did, but I think at least one time when I repeated the question, I rephrased it
Yes.
to help you understand it. And that's what a good examiner will do. They will understand that there might be one or two words that you didn't quite understand, and they will rephrase it to make it easier. You can also ask the examiner to explain a word. So for example, what do you mean by resort? Some people wouldn't know that a resort is like a big hotel, a big tourist complex. Then the examiner will explain that. Oh, hotel, okay. And then you'll be able to answer it better. So keep doing that. If you don't understand questions, ask that examiner to repeat the question, or what does that word mean, or can you rephrase that? But you did really, really well. You could expand your answers in part 3 a little bit by using more examples. Sometimes examples help you think more clearly. So is there a resort in Nepal, or a resort where you currently live, a massive resort or a massive hotel? Does that have any impact on the environment? As human beings, find it easier to talk about stories and examples than to think about these abstract concepts. So you can talk about that in part 3. So I think if you used all of that advice, the next time you come in and do one of these with us, you'll see a big improvement, and you'll do even better. I've given you a lot of negative feedback, but a lot of the stuff you did was great.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just doing that to help you as much as possible. But overall, your pronunciation was clear. I could understand every word that you were saying. Nearly all of your grammar was good as well. You were making some small grammar mistakes, like these ones.
It will be like not developed place, and how it is differ from their lifestyle. There will be a guide. He have all the plan for you for the holiday.
Most of your vocabulary is good. You are able to talk about many different topics without any problem. You're not making many collocation or vocabulary errors, and your fluency is quite good as well. There's a few little areas that we could help you be more fluent, but overall, very, very good. I'm going to create a whole PDF feedback report for you, and I'm going to give you your scores in that PDF feedback report. I'll send that to you. You can also download it in the description and the pinned comment. I've included the full feedback report and also examples of sentence structures, grammar, vocabulary that this student used that would help you too. And I'm also going to include lots of extra samples and questions for you to practice, and 100 of the most common words that band 7, 8, and 9 students use in their speaking test. Go to the description or the pinned comment and you can download that for free. It's my gift to you. If you want to see more speaking tests, click here. If you want more help with your speaking and you want some tips, click here.